Hello everyone, this is Craig D'Amico for the NEC Women's Basketball Road Trip Blog 2013. We started a brand new conference season. We also started off our road trip with our first stop at the Pitt Center in Fairfield, Connecticut earlier this afternoon to see the champs, the Sacred Heart Pioneers, in action. They had won 13 straight home games dating back to last year, including a championship game on their home court a year ago against the Monmouth Hawks. They were 5-0 at home this year. They were welcoming in the St. Francis Brooklyn Terriers, and it was a little opening day surprise as the Terriers came away with a 56-47 victory. The Terriers start 1-0 in Northeast Conference play for the first time since 2004, and with this win today, it was their fourth on the season. They equal their win total from all of last year. Last year, they didn't win their fourth game until the final weekend of February. On the other side for Sacred Heart, this marked the first time since 2005-2006 that the reigning conference champion fell in their NEC conference opener. The Pioneers fall to 0-1. The difference in this game, in my estimation, and I was sitting courtside for it at the Pitt Center earlier this afternoon, was the fact that St. Francis came out and shot lights out in the first half. They shot 50% from the floor. They built themselves up a 15-point lead at the half. Just after the half, they led by as many as 20 points, equaling their largest lead out of any point in any game all season long. So they definitely built themselves an edge with some hot shooting early on. And even though they didn't shoot as well in the second half, and Sacred Heart did manage to close within 10 about midway through the half and get to as little as 6 in the final seconds, the Terriers were able to get to the finish line today, something that they hadn't done a couple times earlier in this year. NJIT and Penn in non-conference play, they saw some big leads at halftime slip away, but not today. They were able to get to the finish line and pull off a big win for their program under first-year head coach John Thurston. This is a Pioneer Terrier team, rather, in my eyes, that is very young. Let's keep that in mind. They have 3 freshmen, 7 sophomores, 3 juniors, and 1 senior. They're still learning how to win. This is a program just a couple years removed from going winless the entire conference season just a couple years ago, and now here they are at 1-0 in conference. This is a young group that is all in to go with their team motto this year. They battle for every loose ball. They fight for every rebound. They're a real gritty team, and they play just about everybody. Everybody gets a chance to contribute, and from what I saw today, this is a team that could very well make a run at their first NEC playoff appearance since 2008, and even if they don't get to that point, they're well on their way to getting there in the very near future. In fact, this is a team that come February, as this young group starts to learn together and grow together and start figuring out how to win together just like they did today, this is going to be a team that no one's going to want to play in February. They could definitely be a tough go for 40 minutes as we get later on into the season. For Sacred Heart, from what I saw today, depth is going to be a little bit of a concern for Ed Swanson. They've started the same 5 starters every game so far this season. They get a lot of the minutes. They only go 3 or 4 off the bench, and if any of their starters are having an off game, shooting or otherwise, like they did today, that could be an issue for the Sacred Heart Pioneers. Also, the fact I was a little intrigued to see how they would try to manage the loss of Callan Taylor, a player who can hit an outside jumper, can take it inside, can score a lot of different ways, can do a lot of things defensively. Obviously, she graduated, and I didn't really see that much of an inside presence today. Only 2 points in the paint, scoring the basketball from down low for Sacred Heart. They had to settle for a lot of jumpers, and when they weren't going, it was like a snowball roll, and that contributed to their slow start shooting the basketball here today. On the bright side, Gabby Washington is really, really good. She's been in double figures every single game this season. She had 13 points here today, and only twice in NEC women's basketball history has a player won Rookie of the Year one year and then gone on to win Player of the Year the next. Jessa Noble back in the day with the Red Flash, and Sacred Heart's own Elisa Appo just a couple years ago. If Sacred Heart once again finds themselves at the top of the standings when all is said and done at the end of the year, Gabby Washington could very well be the reason why, and she could very well be in line to be the 3rd young lady to be added to that list. The Pioneers will try to bounce back Monday night back at the Pitt Center hosting the LIU Brooklyn Blackbirds. Meanwhile, for St. Francis, the immediate schedule doesn't get any easier. They have to head up the Merritt to meet Quinnipiac, who's having one fantastic season so far. That's where we will be next week. We will be at the home of the Quinnipiac Bobcats. They will host Sacred Heart. It's a matchup between not just the top 2 teams from the the end of last year in the standings, but it's also a matchup from the top 2 teams in this year's NEC preseason poll. It's Sacred Heart at Quinnipiac next Saturday at 12 noon. We'll have coverage all weekend long on the NEC Road Trip blog. We hope you'll keep it here and follow us for that. So stop number 1 is in the books, and it's a little opening day surprise from the Pitt Center in Fairfield, Connecticut. The St. Francis Brooklyn Terriers start off their conference season 1-0, knocking off the champs 56-47.